Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is She Sews Happiness. I'm Mary Ellen and this is where I share all things stitching related with you. So yeah, voice, if you're new to the channel, this is not normal. If you're a subscriber and you come here every week to catch up with me, yeah, I'm still like this. I have here a hot cup of tea, hoping that if I drink away at this, it'll keep me going for the 10-15 minutes it takes just to record my Sunday vlog. So bear with me, and hopefully in the next week or two I'll be back to normal. I don't know why this is going on. I don't know if it's just a case of being run down with work, you know, being quite far into my third trimester, or maybe it's just whatever's left over from that infection I had 3-4 weeks back. But whatever it is, it's irritating, and hopefully it's not too irritating for you and you manage to hold out for the duration of this video. So I can't even remember what I was discussing last week. I do remember that I had to hold up my hands and proclaim myself guilty for not finishing the dress that had been hanging for 2 weeks. It only got finished last night, 10 minutes before I went out for dinner, and I'll pop a couple of pictures in. So the last thing I was talking about, I think in my video last week, was my Rita dress. So it's a dress version of the Rita blouse, which is a Charm Patterns creation. The Rita blouse is a very simple peasant blouse. It features kind of puffy sleeves, which you'll see in the photos here. I've actually lengthened to make it kind of more seasonal appropriate. Otherwise they kind of cut off around here, and you can kind of do that off the shoulder thing, which looks really cute. But you can still do that with the fuller sleeve as well. So I've literally just lengthened the sleeve by a few inches to make it sit a little bit better for the colder days. Yeah, so it was 2 weeks just hanging on that mannequin waiting for me to level it off. I just couldn't be bothered getting down on the floor and leveling it. So to be honest, halfway through I just lifted the entire mannequin onto a table and did it that way, and wondered why didn't my common sense work 2 weeks ago. But it didn't. That's just where I am. So I finally got it finished, wore it to dinner. It's lovely. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. I just fell in love with the fabric, which is a Minerva exclusive viscose print. If you don't know, Minerva have been creating their own range of fabrics. They work with designers and print off their own fabric. So this was one of theirs, and you know, they previewed it months and months ago. And as a Minerva ambassador, we were given a choice of the fabrics and what we wanted, and it was the one that I loved. It has this gorgeous kind of dark navy background, but those kind of frosted colors of wine and green just make it look so luxurious. It almost looks flocked, which it's not, but it's really lovely to work with, beautiful to feel and touch, and yeah, hopefully it washes well. And then it'll tick all the boxes for a good fabric. But yeah, some of their designs I like, some I like more than others. It was my favorite, so it's worth having a wee look and checking those out if you're looking for some nice floaty viscose fabrics. So tea, keep the voice. But yeah, I just love this pattern. It has got me through my entire pregnancy, you know. So I'm now 32 weeks and I'm still wearing the size I would have worn before. The only thing I've had to do is just change the princess seams. So you have 6 seams in that mid section, and instead of sewing it at the 5/8 of an inch, I've sewn them at 3/8 of an inch. And I hope I'll still be able to wear those, you know, later on when everything kind of shrinks back down to where I want it to be. We'll see. It shouldn't be too big, and worst case scenario, I just belt it at the waist and make it look a little bit more fitted. So as I have been discussing in my last couple of videos, I've been trying only to make garments that have longevity, that are sustainable, that are not just going to see me through a few months and then just get discarded because the fit is awful. So as you can see here, I'm still wearing my Colette Patterns Moneta dresses, which have been a staple of my wardrobe in the last few months, kind of from the summer onwards. But I've had to make some winter versions. I didn't have any autumn winter versions of the dress. They were all summer jerseys and bright colors, and in many cases shorter sleeves as well, whereas now I'm opting for the longer sleeves. And I do plan on making a couple more. So the one that I'm wearing here is made from a brushed viscose fabric, which I got from First for Fabrics. This is the graphite colorway. I also have made this dress in the pumpkin colorway as well. I think there are like 15 colors on the First for Fabrics website, and they have just recently been restocked. So I managed to grab some of the mulled wine colorway that I really wanted and regretted not ordering. And as soon as I went back, it was gone. But as soon as it came back in, I mean, I was on that. I ordered it immediately, and I'm going to make myself just another jersey dress. But I just love that rich shade. It's just one of those colors I gravitate to. So that has come this week. I have just got it pre-washed. It is actually still a little damp. I've just grabbed it to show you, and then I'll get it dried fully and get that maybe cut out later this evening and something to sew up in the evenings this week. But yeah, absolutely love this fabric. It is so soft, and the drape is absolutely beautiful. So for like a gathered skirt, which is what I'm pinning on my jersey dresses to get me through this period anyhow and beyond, yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. And I do recommend it to you. I'm not usually one for trying to recommend fabrics, but it's just so nice. I've worn the couple that I have already quite a few times, and it is just a perfect transitional fabric. Also great for layering as well. I mean, this would make some beautiful layering tops if you wanted to make tops just to wear under like your dungarees or your pinafores or even just your dresses, whatever. I think it would be a perfect layering fabric. So yeah, absolutely gorgeous. And I'm really glad I nabbed some of that. But in terms of what else I've been making this week, I managed to make my boucle Coatigan. So if you remember last week, I had this nightmarish moment of finding a hole in the fabric after it had all been cut out, just randomly in the middle of one of the pieces. And if you recall, I did a bit of a mend job on it. But yeah, I've worn it now a couple of times. Really super cozy, beautiful. I'm going to pop a picture in so you can see it. It is the Jessie Coatigan by Sew Over It, and it's definitely a maternity friendly pattern that will not just be worn in this period of my life. This will come back out next winter, and yeah, I'll get a lot more enjoyment out of it then as well. I probably could have sized down one, but I quite like that kind of like snuggly pulling it across and feeling really cozy. And yeah, I quite like boucle. It's not something I've actually ever sewn with before, but I used to have quite a few pieces in my ready-to-wear wardrobe before I started sewing, and now I don't really have a ready-to-wear wardrobe. I have a few beautiful pieces that I can't bear to part with. Everything else is gone, either donated or it went on Vinted. It's all gone. And I know I do wear 100% me-made clothing. That's just where I am. But yeah, really chuffed that I got it finished. It's going to be really useful this season, and yeah, I'm still sad that I can't wear any of my tailored coats, but it's 1 year. I'll be okay. So what else have I been up to? I'm trying to think. I haven't done an awful lot of sewing. What I did get done in the last kind of like week and a half is I managed to complete my Cotton Twine cross-stitch subscription project for this month, which was this gorgeous Halloween design designed in-house by the historical sampler company, which is the company who owns Cotton Twine. And I just thought, yeah, I wanted to get it done, and I wanted to get it up as part of my autumn decor and my Halloween decor. So it's just nicely finished at the back there with some felt, gives it a bit of stability, and just finished off with a little dowel to hang. So yeah, I'm really proud of it. Usually it takes me quite a long time to get through cross stitch, especially recently. I haven't been getting as much cross stitch projects stitched up as what I used to, but yeah, it's finished. It's been popped up on the wall and I've just taken it down to show you. And even yesterday I managed to get out all the pieces, so they're all cut to make my dog bed. So this is a beautiful fleece paw print fabric which Minerva have sent me as part of the brand ambassador program, and yeah, they definitely, it's been sitting there for a couple of months, so it's time for me to get that stitched up. It's taken me a while because there's lots of little pieces to cut out. So, well, not lots, but you know, everything's a bit of an effort these days. So basically, to make the dog bed, I have 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces per bed. So you have your square, and I might even try to do a quick tutorial and a sew along for this one. But you've got your square piece, you've 2 rectangular pieces, which you then insert your slip into to make the basic square bed. And then I have 4 more pieces which will become rectangular pieces that then go around the bed, which are tied to make it nice and cozy. So it's a really simple project. Parts of it are fiddly. The stuffing takes forever. That's the part that actually takes forever. But yeah, maybe I'll try and get a sew along. So, you know, if you've got dogs in the house and you want to make them something cuddly and cozy, it's a nice little project for a cold autumnal winter's night, or a random day if you ever get the luxury of an entire day just to sew. I forget what those were. So yeah, that's going to be my project for the next few days, as well as sewing up my couple of jerseys. The other one I have here, this came this week as well. This is from Fleur et Ours. So this is a houndstooth viscose jersey. Has really, really good stretch. I think it was something like, what's the stretch on this? It was pretty substantial. I think it's maybe 50% both ways. And again, I'm just toying with the idea of making another Minetta dress because I know how much wear I get out of those. But on this occasion, I might even add a little black collar to this one. I never really bother with the collars because, I don't know, it's just not a feature I go for. But just to change things up a little, I'll go through the stash, find probably even a black ponte or something, and just make a little collar to go with this one. So it changes the project up a little bit. Yeah, that is a lovely fabric. It was actually on sale as well. So I mean, these fabrics that I've bought this week are really inexpensive, but they're beautiful quality. I think the First for Fabric viscose jersey is like £10.95 a metre. This one is priced at £14 a metre, but at the moment there seems to be a sale on quite a few fabrics, and I think it's now like £10 a metre. It's no more. You know, so I have 2.5 meters there. It's inexpensive and it is a beautiful quality of fabric. So that's my plans for this week. Nothing too extensive. I'm actually quite annoyed because this is a time of year where I like to start making festive garments, and I have some beautiful fabrics in my stash that were set aside to make festive dresses. And this year, with, you know, this, it's not gonna happen. I don't want to make use of that fabric and not be able to wear it again. So I don't know what my festive wardrobe is going to be like this year. With a newborn in the house, am I really gonna care? I don't know, but I do have some gorgeous fabrics in my stash that I really wanted to sew with, and now it's going to be a year before I get to sew with those. And actually I might show you some of those in another video. I just have a few gorgeous ones that are calling to me. And I think it's because I can't really use them that they're calling to me, but they are calling to me. And I was really tempted the other day to sew up a couple of dresses in my pre-pregnancy measurement sizes. And then I was like, don't be ridiculous. Because the pressure you're going to put in yourself then to get into those. I mean, I already have to think of the pressure of getting back into all the clothes that I absolutely love that are already in my wardrobe. The one thing I really miss wearing at the moment are my Sew Over It Marguerite dresses, which I have made to be fully fitted at the waist. I've completely got rid of the notion of ease, and I'm just hoping that my body plays ball and I get to get back into those again, because I'm going to be honest, the idea of altering things fills me with fear and trepidation. And while the little good angel on my shoulder is like, but you want to be sustainable. And I do. I really do. I just think of the effort and the work. I think on 2 occasions when I have been sewing, I've been forced to unpick something. And those were the most excruciating moments of my sewing journey. It's just boring. There is nothing more tedious than unpicking a seam that wasn't meant to be sewn. And I'm glad it's only happened to me a couple of times. But yeah, the idea of altering things isn't doing it for me. But we'll see. We'll come and we'll cross that bridge whenever we get to it. But yeah, I'm missing my fitted garments so much. And I'm missing my aesthetic as well. A big part of who I am and my body confidence and how I express myself is rooted in part, I suppose, in wearing those form-fitted garments. And yeah, as my body's been expanding and as those clothes have been pushed further and further and further back into the wardrobe, I suppose I have had moments where I've not only been frustrated, but I've been disappointed, I've been upset, I've been self-critical, which is a mentality I have worked my entire life not to have. You know, I have been everything from a size 6 to a size 16, and it's been such a journey to get to the point where the numbers don't count. And sewing was a great revelation, because sewing stopped me thinking in sizes. I mean, every single pattern designer has their own size system, has their own range. So you get used to working with your measurements, which are somehow, even as they get smaller or larger, less debilitating than dealing with sizes. Because there's something about, I don't know, maybe it's just the way we're ingrained. There's something about those societal tags like plus size, etc., that just make us inherently critical of ourselves. And I am comfortable being a plus size girl. It's how I'm naturally supposed to be. When I have been anything other than a plus size woman, I have either had to starve myself, count my calories, measure every single bite I eat. So you lose the pleasure in life and in food and in all the sensuality that comes along with it. And I've had to work out to the extreme. And I don't mean going to the gym 3 times a week. I mean going to the gym every day, at least once a week, once a day. Running every day on top of the gym. And beating myself up for exceeding a certain amount of calories, which is crazy, totally crazy. And it did take me many years to realize that is not who I naturally am. So yeah, while I've had my weak moments, I know this is temporary. It's, again, control. In my pregnant state, I am not in control of my body. It's gonna do whatever it has to do to get through this period and survive. But at the same time, there are moments of weakness because my style has had to change. And while I can still make the effort with hair and makeup, and people still kind of, you know, even when I'm going to my appointments, the nurses and the midwives are always like, oh, you have a really vintage style. That's nice. That's nice because that's a piece of me that I really cherish and is a huge part of my identity. So the fact that it hasn't been completely eradicated gives me a little bit of hope that it is inherent in me. But I do miss the proper form-fitting, cleavage hugging, waist-fitted, fit and flare dresses, and the high heels. Because since like week 12, none of my heels fitted me anymore. Yeah. And that was the other thing. That's been really annoying because no matter what size I have been, I've always really liked my legs. I like my legs. But yeah, they're just not, they don't feel like mine anymore. Nothing feels like mine anymore, and I cannot wait to get that back. But yeah, hopefully my sewing in the new year will take a different direction. Because while I enjoy sewing with jersey and things, I don't find it challenging. And for me, part of what I love about dressmaking is the learning process itself. It was why I started sewing in the first place. There's about 5 reasons why I started sewing in the first place, but that was one of them. I needed a challenge. As someone who has spent their adult life just collecting degrees, you know, I've got 5 degrees. I studied and I did my bachelor's, my master's, my PhD. Then I went back, I did my teaching degree. Then I went back and I did my librarianship degree. And I love learning, but going through those formal, educative, academic channels is not sustainable in the long term. So sewing became my thing for learning, and making toiles and learning the fitting process and learning how to make things work for all the particular idiosyncrasies of your own body. That was part of what made sewing fun to me. The work was the fun part, and I feel like I'm really missing out on the work. So I was talking last week about making a jacket for Simon. I still haven't started that because that's going to be a lengthy process. So I have this lovely wool from Rainbow Fabrics, which is dead stock from Wax London, and that's to make a jacket for him, which will need twirled. So that's going to be a project that I might actually be able to get my teeth into and feel a little bit better about sewing, because I don't like feeling like I'm stuck in a rut. And at the moment, you might be thinking when I show what I'm making or whatever that maybe I am in a little bit of a rut. But we'll see. We'll see. There has to be progress, and that'll be a challenge because men's bodies are totally different from women's bodies, and I don't have a lot of experience in sewing for men. I have made, you know, t-shirts and underwear and shirts and, you know, basic things, sweaters, things like that, but I haven't made a tailored menswear pattern. So that'll be interesting. I'm making the wardrobe by me overshirt pattern, I think that's what it's called. So maybe I'll have to get it cut out and twirled in the next week or two. We'll see how far I get. Work has been annoyingly full on, and I suppose I don't have the energy after that to do an awful lot, but we'll see. I'm insistent that I'm not going to lose my time and my passion and my energy for the things that I love. I need to hold a little bit back. So we'll see how I get on. And I'll be back with you next week to show you what progress, if any, I have made. The other thing I'm quite excited about is a new pattern that has been released by Tara Dayton, and that is the Marlena Beret pattern, which, yeah, I'm excited to make. I last year started making a couple of versions of her knitting pattern beret, the tassel beret, which was absolutely wonderful, and it was a nice quick sew as well. I don't like sews that take you weeks upon weeks and months. So I really enjoyed making that. If I can find a little picture of that pattern, I'll slot it in, because while I don't talk about knitting an awful lot, it is something I used to love, and before I started sewing I would have knitted an awful lot more than what I do now. But yeah, I think there's something about sewing that is a faster process, and that's what makes it more attractive. But maybe I will start to get a little bit more into that and share those projects with you. But yeah, I loved the beret, so I'm hoping the sewing pattern is as good as the knitting pattern. But if you go and check out Tara's channel, all the details about the patterns there, you can buy it on her website. She has a sew along as well, which makes the process seem rather easy. She has a gorgeous teaching style, and Tara is a sewing teacher. She has a long history of couture and wedding garment making and things like that. So she's an incredibly talented lady. I'm in awe of her, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I want to try this pattern. So I have some pieces of wool from the coats I made last year, which I'm going to try sewing with before I buy, because I know I'm going to buy a whole array of them and make them if they look as good as I think they might. I do quite like a beret or a hat. So yeah, that's one of my things as well that will be on the planner in the incoming days. So yeah, there's lots of things that I can do. But yeah, I'll come back someday soon and do a video with some of the fabrics that I'm bursting to get stuck into as soon as it is feasible and as soon as I can make the kind of garments I want to make with those. And the other thing I will have to do, I've had a few people asking me about which sewing machine I use. So, I mean, it's sitting here, it's a Singer Quantum Stylus 6330, I think. No, it's not. It's 9960. Numbers now are not great. But yeah, I will do that. I'll share this with you because I know some people were looking to upgrade their machine. I upgraded it last year. So my first machine, which is still sitting just in here, it's my backup, which I've only ever needed once. But it was a Singer Fashion Mate. And I don't think there's a number model or anything on that one, but it was brilliant. And I do recommend, for those who are asking, I do recommend if you're starting out that you do get a starter machine. To be honest, if you get a sewing machine with all the bells and whistles when you're only starting out, you'll be more concerned with learning how to use the machine than learning how to sew. Whereas you have a sewing machine that does only the basics, you're learning everything, you know, about sewing first rather than the technology. And I'm glad I got a basic machine because I think it made me a more proficient sewist. But I'll make a video and share with you my thoughts on what I've got. I also have a Singer overlocker, so I will try and get that done in the next few weeks as well, because it is good to share opinions and feelings on certain things. And I'll tell you the features that I love. If there's any features that I hate, I'll tell you that too. But yeah, I'm hoping to get a few more things because my presence on YouTube hasn't been what I want it to be in the last few months, but hopefully I'll be back on course soon, and there's lots of other things I want to share with you as well. I've always wanted to do more sew-alongs, which I started doing when I first started my channel, but then I started making the same kind of thing all of the time, so that might not have been that enjoyable for you. But yeah, hopefully going forward there will be a lot more happening here. So if you're not a subscriber to my channel yet, please do hit the subscribe button because there will be nice things coming. And if you are a subscriber, thank you for sticking with me, voice and all. It's really nice to have you all here, even though I don't feel as interesting as I could be. And not as interesting as I want to be, but that is going to come back. I know it. So it is temporary, and it's really nice of you to stick here while I get back into the flow of things. Do hit that little notification bell because that's going to tell you when I next go live, which probably live, when I next post, when I next upload a video. It'll be next Sunday. If not before, I might take a day off work and chat to you about some pretty fabrics or something like that. But yeah, it'll definitely be back next Sunday, hopefully with a better voice. That would be nice. So yeah, do like this video, do Send me a comment if there's anything you enjoy. If there's anything you want me to share with you, please just pop a little question in the comments there and I will come back to it in my next video. And yeah, I'm going to go out now and do some shopping, and not much sewing's happening today, but I might get a start in those little dog beds later on. And as I say, I will record the process so that you can see how simple and relaxing a make that is. But whatever you're doing, whatever you're up to, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you've had a fantastic weekend. I hope you enjoy what's left of this day. Happy sewing, and I will catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye, everyone.